Within you are 7 sacred gifts, 7 codes carried only by the Aquarius soul. No other zodiac sign has a copy, and when each gift is unlocked, you will see clearly every fragment, from where you've been, why you're here, to the light waiting for you at the end of the path. Aquarius. What I'm about to say is not for you to hear just for fun, nor to nod along for a few seconds and forget. This is something that will either awaken you completely or you will miss it forever. If you leave before listening, you will lose the key that can change how you see yourself, the past, and even the future. Because the final gift, the 7th, will pivot the entire meaning of your life. Breathe slowly, because once this door opens, there is no turning back. Aquarius, you are not a product of a repeating mold. God does not copy anyone's blueprint when creating you. You are sculpted with unique contours, not to be better than anyone else, but to walk a path no one dares to take. This is not embellishment, this is truth. Let's begin. The first gift, cosmic thinking. Aquarius, you don't think like the masses. Your mind isn't programmed by the safe standards that people hand around like a golden cage. You are not trapped in the cage of the predictable. You operate on a completely different frequency. Your brain's like a radar station at the edge of the universe, scanning and catching signals no one has ever heard. While others are still asking, what's happening? You've already drawn the map of what's about to unfold. You cannot explain why. You know, you just know. Ideas fall into you like meteors from the void. Solutions appear amidst chaos, unannounced, as if a door somewhere has just opened. Those thoughts, they do not come from here, but seem sent from another galaxy, and no, you are not crazy. You are connected to a higher source, something most people don't even dare to believe exists. What others call science fiction for you is just the logic of the future. It is precisely this vision that confuses, even unsettles others. Because you don't just dream of another world, you see it in such detail that your words can shake people or awaken them. That's why so many don't understand you. It's also why sometimes you feel out of place amidst a sea of people, yet your mind exists in another dimension. And when you live on that frequency, your mind never stops, even in sleep. You crave a sky of your own, a place without filters, without chains, without anyone trying to shrink your vision to fit a mold. It is at that moment the second gift emerges. But before you reach it, ask yourself, have you ever felt unable to stay silent in the face of falseness, even when everyone around you accepts it? That is not impulsive rebellion. It is a sacred flame, and it will lead you to the next gift. But not yet. The second gift, sacred rebellion. Aquarius, your rebellion is not a noisy spectacle to attract attention, not a performance to earn points. It is an undercurrent, smoldering quietly, originating from the core of your soul. Whenever something reeks of falseness, whenever a decaying system tries to force people to bow, whenever blind obedience becomes the standard, the fire within you ignites. You cannot pretend not to see, cannot stand still, cannot remain silent. For you carry a compass. No matter how the world spins, it points to the truth. When something touches the boundary within you, you do not negotiate. You do not step back. You shatter silence. You break the mold. You snap invisible bars. And you do it. Not for praise, but because this is how you breathe, how you exist. Your rebellion is a ritual of the soul. It does not come from wanting to be better than others, but from steadfastness to what is right. While others learn to bend in order to survive, you choose freedom, even if it costs blood, people, everything. How many times have you heard lines like, you are too extreme, too blunt, too intense, too different, too rebellious? But think again. What if too much is exactly what this world is missing? What if refusing to shrink is true strength? What if the fire within you is not a flaw, but a flare guiding those who dare to question, dare to dream of a new world? And when your cosmic thinking combines with this sacred rebellion, a door opens. Not everyone can step through without collapsing, but you were born to walk through it. The third gift, unconditional love for humanity. Aquarius. There is something almost no one notices about you. It is not loud, not boastful, but it is there, silent, immense, steadfast like the pillars of the sky. Have you ever felt that your heart is too vast for this world, too large to the point that sometimes it causes you pain? Loving so much that your heart cracks, even when no one sees, even when no one reciprocates. That is not weakness, that is a sacred flame. You have never loved like the rest of the world. You do not need chains called relationships. Do not crave dramatic promises. Do not seek validation to know your love has value. When you love with wild purity, untamable by anyone. No possession, no barriers, no safe zones. Your love unfolds like the sky, vast and free. You love those who have fallen, love those who are fighting, love even souls you have never met, and those who will never love you back. You feel the pain of others without words, and that does not make you weak. It turns you into a channel for something greater than yourself. You love humanity even when it disappoints you, even when it does not understand you, even when it never returns what you have given. This is not charity to have your name on it. This is genuine connection, pure giving, unconditional, without expectation. Because within you burns the desire to be present, to listen, and to heal. You cannot turn away when the world cries for help, cannot stand still when every cell in you urges action. You are the heartbeat in humanity's collective body, and you refuse to let that heartbeat stop, even when heavy, even when lonely, even when it hurts so much it feels your heart will shatter from loving too much. You carry it every day, even when no one sees, even when no one says thank you. And because of that love, it never remains silent, because you are not someone who only feels and hides it. The fourth gift begins to take shape. The fourth gift, the language of ideas. Aquarius, you don't just speak, you transmit. There is something in the way you use words now that makes others unable to look away. Sometimes it's just an offhand sentence, a brief message, or a seemingly ordinary conversation, but it awakens in someone something that has slept for years. You don't need to shout, don't need to force anyone to believe. Your words carry something that money or power cannot buy: vision. When you speak, people listen, not because of volume, but because of the precision of the truth you hold in your hands. You say what no one has dared to say, or repeat an old thing in a way that makes it no longer old. Not to show off, but because within you is a fierce convergence of intellect, intuition, and a light that is hard to name. You have the ability to turn the abstract into something everyone can feel. You combine logic with emotion, connect the tangible with the intangible, link humans with the transcendent. That is power, not to control, but to liberate. The way you speak, the way you write, the way you share, it opens paths, it awakens, it frees. And the remarkable thing, you don't need a stage, don't need a crowd, because that power does not lie in form, but in the frequency your words carry. You've seen it, haven't you? The way someone's eyes change color after hearing you speak, their breath catches. In that moment, you know you have touched the deepest part within them. But cosmic thinking, sacred rebellion, unconditional love, and the language of ideas, these are only the surface. What is coming is not what you do, but what you radiate, even when silent. The fifth gift, the energy of creative innovation. Aquarius, you were not born to repeat, you were born to break cycles. Old patterns suffocate you. The ways things have always been done are just walls waiting to be torn down. You look at the old and say plainly, "Thank you, but I will build something different." You do not just adapt to the world, you recreate it. You see the faint shapes of the future, then draw them into clear lines right in the middle of the present. Your ideas are bold, sometimes reckless. They erupt like electric currents, shaking the system wherever they touch. They pierce comfort zones, rattling what people thought immutable. They pull reality toward the future with an irresistible force. Others wait for orders. You start immediately, with nothing, with everything, with a single question: why not? And that question has sparked revolutions. Yes, it makes some people uncomfortable because you are the crack through which new light flows. You are the system error, exposing what is rotten and daring to fix it. You do not upgrade something decayed, you dismantle it. Not to leave ruins behind, but to clear the way for a stronger form to emerge. Your innovation is not for entertainment, it is survival instinct, because your soul cannot endure stagnation. Whenever the world stands still too long, you feel frozen. You were born to expand continuously, and from that very creative soil another need arises, quiet but steadfast as a rock, to live true to the nature and aspirations of an Aquarius. That is the sixth gift. The sixth gift, loyalty to your own soul. Aquarius, you do not know how to pretend. You cannot. Even when a mask would make things easier, you still do not put it on. Others perform to fit in, you do not. Your voice is straight as an arrow, piercing through any coating down to the core. Your loyalty is not for people, trends, systems, or any promises. It is for truth, for the inner compass that always shines and guides, felt clearly in every breath, deep in your very blood and flesh. You are the one who steps forward when the room chooses silence, the one who says no, even if it costs everything, the one who chooses integrity over applause, always, everywhere. And yes, sometimes that path is lonely, but honestly, would you sell your truth just to sit at their table? Would you dim the light within to please the crowd? Would you silence yourself to fit the mold someone else has cast? No, because your soul will not allow it, because your heart knows that a mask would suffocate your breath. In Aquarius, you were not born to be suffocated. You were born to radiate your own heat and light, to walk barefoot over illusions, to say what no one dares to say, to live a life no one dares to live. When you live true to yourself, you become a mirror, making others stop and look deeply into themselves. A gentle reminder, yet sharp as a blade, that they too can remove their own masks. Your truth is not judgmental, not loud. It opens doors, allowing others to feel free and awaken. And all the gifts before this were only doors leading here. To the seventh gift, the flame at the center of everything. The seventh gift, awakening collective consciousness. Aquarius, you have never truly been alone. Even through nights so silent they suffocate. Even when you stood at the edge of the world, believing no one could reach you, there is still an invisible thread connecting you to something greater. You did not come here to dissolve into the crowd. You came to create a crack in the old wall of perception, to let new light in, to show that there is another way to see, to love, to dream, to exist. That mission does not need cheering crowds or crowns upon your head. It requires something deeper and presence that cannot be ignored, a gaze that makes others turn around, a choice to swim against the current without explanation, a silence more resonant than 1,000 speeches. You do not stand there to talk about freedom. You stand there as living proof of freedom. Inside you, there is an antenna pointing directly toward higher consciousness. You carry the primal memory of truth, something that cannot be learned, only remembered. And you are here to awaken that memory in others, not with shouting, but with the quiet flame within you that never goes out. When you shine, they recognize their own light. When you dare to speak what others only think, everything that seems solid begins to tremble. When you love unconditionally, they remember what love without demands feels like. Yes, sometimes this weighs on you like a stone upon your chest. No one sees, no one knows how you stand, strong against the wind. But you are the lighthouse, and a lighthouse does not move. It stands firm, unwavering, shining, even when no one looks. And here's the deepest part. This awakening is not only for them, it is for you. Every time you choose truth, a part of you is healed. Every time you cut away what is out of frequency, the space inside you expands. Every time you dare to be yourself, you become more alive than ever. This process is not easy. It forces you to see what others avoid, feel what they numb, acknowledge what they ridicule, yet you keep walking. Because deep within, you know clearly, this path does not lead you astray. It leads you home. Aquarius, you are not just a dot on the Zodiac map. You are not a cog in an old machine, not a sticker on a box, not a repeating role to please others. You are a crack in the ground where a new seedling emerges. You are the shaft of light piercing through a thick wall. You are the starting point of a new trajectory. You were born to question, to pivot, to burn away the old, and yes, it will hurt. To see deeper, feel more, know sooner, sometimes exhausting to the point of collapse. Carrying too much truth, too much vision, too much love is not always light, but the extraordinary never belongs to those who seek the easy way. And you were not born for ease. You were born to leave a mark on this earth. You hold 7 gifts in your hands. The world does not need a part. It needs all. It needs brilliance untamed, hearts uncompromised, and truths hard to hear, the times you leave silently and the times you return like a storm. But here's the key. Knowing is not enough. Having is not enough. A gift left in its box is a dead gift. You were born to activate, to shake, to create a before and after wherever you set foot. So, awaken. Stop shrinking to fit. Stop asking permission to exist. Stop dimming your light for fear of blinding others. Your light is not the problem. It is your mission. Aquarius, this is not the ending. This is the opening of a stronger, deeper, more radiant version of yourself. Now you know. You hold the map. You carry the 7 gifts. There's no reason left to stay small. And if this touches you, leave a comment, share this piece, and subscribe so we can awaken the brightest part of every Aquarius together.